Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to Lightning Storm, the series where lightning always strikes twice as we talk about everything that has happened in the past week for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. Not a lot to talk about here this week, but still some interesting stories nonetheless here, so let's go ahead and get right on into it. So first up for this week, we have the Zap NFT Black Gold Megazord again. So I really didn't think I was going to be talking about this again, but there's kind of a reason to talk about it for just a brief amount of time. So when it originally went back up for pre-order after the April 17th fan stream, they had it listed as a June 1st pre-order release date, which I always thought was kind of strange because, like, since these originally shipped for the people who went through the whole NFT process back in November, it seemed like they probably still just had a decent-ish amount of stock left of them and didn't really need to be a pre-order necessarily, so I always thought that was kind of strange. Well, it does seem like that maybe is the case after all, because the pre-order release date was bumped up from June 1st to May 9th. I think some people have already had their accounts kind of charged for it. They're not charged, but like kind of the, hey, your order's going to ship soon kind of emails that Pulse kind of does whenever they're gearing up to charge your card. So it looks like these are going to be released here pretty soon off of Hasbro Pulse. Now, originally, as of the Thursday of the week that they went up for pre-order, they were already sold out, but the last time that I checked, they were back up for pre-order, so I will be leaving the link to them in the description below if you want to pick these up. I don't know if that pre-order is still going to be active at the time that this episode comes out. It might be, they might not be. Some of these might be in stock on Monday when they do start shipping out. I feel like this is one of those items, and I said this back in my recap of the fan stream when it got relaunched for pre-order. I had said that this seems like one of those items that would probably kind of at least once or twice pop back up on one of those in stock on Fridays for Pulse Premium members and then everybody else an hour later kind of things. It just has that kind of sort of labeling written all over it, in my opinion. So I don't think this will be the last time ever you can get this, but if you want it, you should probably try to get a pre-order in for it if you can. And then next up for this week, talking about old products. In fact, everything in today's episode is old products kind of reappearing or being kind of strange in their release methods right now. So we talked about the Megazord, and now we have PulseCon Pudgy Pig. What is, in my opinion, the worst figure in the line in terms of release. Worst figure in the line, in my opinion, is still Time Force Blue for quality control problems. But PulseCon Pudgy Pig was one of the most overpriced and least desired figures after he was originally released right around the same time that a retail for half the price version came out. It was a whole debacle back in 2021. So practically stores are always kind of sort of trying to give these away. They were originally PulseCon exclusives being only on Pulse, but then they were up on the Pulse eBay, and then other stores were able to get a stock of them as well, including the store Nerdzoic, who is actually a YouTuber here. I actually watch his videos. Really, really good content over there. Well, he has his own toy store that has the Pudgy Pig figure on sale right now for about $30, which is about half of what it retailed for back in 2021. But if you want to get that extra special packaging and the extra food accessories that this one had, this is not a bad price for this release. I honestly wish that I was able to pay this price for this release because I paid full price for it back in 2021. I hopefully will never have to make that mistake again. But if this was something that was kind of missing from your collection, this is a pretty good chance to get it here for a good price. So I will be leaving a link to that in the description below. And then finally for this week, this brings us to one of the weirdest stories in the Lightning Collection news I think we've had in a while. And like I said, there was not much to discuss this week. A pretty quick episode, all things considered. So, In Space Silver, the original one, specifically the Walgreens exclusive one, the one that never was found in a Walgreens, well, he's been found in a Walgreens. So this actually, the first sighting of this happened before last weekend's episode of Lightning Storm, and I feel like there was at least one time where somebody had posted something about it and was like, I found this at a Walgreens months ago, but I was never sure if this was just some weird return, because it was available on Walgreens' website very briefly last summer under that really funny Dino Thunder Silver name for a couple of hours. So it always seemed like it was somewhat possible that either people could have staged this and just taken a picture of it in a Walgreens, or just claimed that they found it at a Walgreens, or some kind of weird return. And that's kind of what I thought for the first two sightings maybe, but then there's just been numerous sightings this past week. People finding one of them on the shelf, which is the most common, or people finding more than one of them on the shelf. And I'm just why now? Why even bother at this point? I mean, it's a good thing in a couple of big regards, because first of all, that release is still pretty pricey, all things considered, being one of the weirdest releases in the line in terms of the fact that it still technically never got like officially revealed. I only officially counted it as revealed when Justin Nemo mentioned it in his live stream reveal of the second release of the figure in Deluxe Wave 3. So like in that regard, I'm like, at this point I've already counted it as officially revealed. I thought we have moved on from it completely because the new one is out and the new one is okay. It still has the floppy pinless joints problem that the male figures have had ever since the changeover to that style of joint. So like the original release is still probably better. You do get that effect piece and everything that you don't get with the deluxe release. So I know that there's still a lot of people who wanted this specific release, especially also for like Tom Whalen box art and all that kind of consistency and stuff like that. So if you don't want to pay like the prices that it goes for usually, you might actually be able to find it at a Walgreens. I've seen so many different reports of it this past week on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. People have been tagging me nearly every single day this past week with somebody finding it somewhere. I've seen them all over the country, like in the Carolinas, Michigan, all over the place. I've seen these being spotted. So it looks like it actually finally might be the time that you can get this figure. Only, about 18 or so months after it was first sold on Hasbro Pulse. And it was always listed as a Walgreens exclusive. So it was always strange that it never showed up in a Walgreens. And now it looks like it finally is. Nearly 2 years after the fact that it was supposed to. It also just makes it so strange due to the fact that this is such an old figure release from the old packaging line and everything like that, that it feels so out of place on the current release, economy or world of Lightning Collection, or just like the way that the line is now, that I never thought it would actually show up in a Walgreens. I thought it's like one day on Walgreens.com was the extent of it, and I figured they would never go back in stock on Pulse, that you would just have to get the new release and have to forget about it unless you wanted to get it on an aftermarket price or something, but hey, I guess the chances are there. Alright, and with that is going to do it for this week's episode of Lightning Storm. So, yeah, like I said, really not that much that happened this past week, but that is perfectly good. It just was a weird release week with certain things coming back and being on sale and appearing, all that kind of stuff. So there will be links to a bunch of stuff, like I said, throughout this episode in the description below, and that's going to do it. So, of course, until next time, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts about anything I talked about this week, and you can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or LightningFigPR, and I'll see you all in Lightning Storm. This here's where lightning always strikes twice. To wrap up this video, I'd like to thank my $5 and above patrons: Jurassic Samurai, Maggot Alchemist, Robert Browning, Static Thunder, Brendan Overland, Maji Yellow, Redstone MCPC, Comics 1017, James Darty, John Luke, Eric Berry, Tyler Bezetsky, Matthew Thorne, Josh Landry, Pure Midas, CPT Tesla, Cross SCV, Caboose Ed, Socket Monsters, Anthony Love, Daniel Pika, Hella Geo, and Thrasher. If you'd like to support Toku Topics, you can for as little as $1 a month on my Patreon, linked in the description below.